Listen, I need to be brutally honest with you right now. There are vegetables sitting in gardens across the country that are quietly draining wallets, destroying soil quality, and turning enthusiastic gardeners into frustrated quitters. And chances are, at least two of them are growing in your garden as we speak. What I'm about to reveal might upset some traditional gardening advice you've heard. But trust me, your bank account and your backyard will thank you for watching until the very end. Hey there, garden friend. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening. If you're new here, you've just found your home for practical, budget-smart growing tips that actually work in the real world. I'm so glad you're here today because this topic has been sitting heavy on my heart. I've watched too many people struggle with these exact vegetables, thinking they were the problem, when really it was just poor plant selection from the start. Before we dig in, and trust me, you'll want to grab a notebook for this one. Do me a quick favor. Smash that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Why? Because every week, we're sharing garden wisdom that saves you money, time, and heartache. These aren't recycled tips from the 1950s. This is tested, modern, budget-conscious advice for real people with real gardens. All right, let's get into it. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can any vegetable be awful? Fair question. But here's the reality most gardening channels won't tell you. Vegetable 1. Celery. Let me paint you a picture. You plant celery because, hey, store-bought stuff is expensive, right? Wrong move. This vegetable is basically a high-maintenance roommate that never pays rent. Celery. It demands the watering schedule of a newborn baby. We're talking consistent moisture every single day for 130 to 140 days straight. Miss one day during a heat wave. Congratulations, you've just grown bitter, stringy stalks that taste like disappointment. But the water bill is just the beginning. Celery needs soil richer than a chocolate cake, constantly feeding with expensive fertilizers, because it's what we call a heavy feeder. You'll spend more on compost, fish emulsion, and soil amendments than you'd ever spend just buying organic celery from the farmer's market. And here's the kicker. After 4 months of babysitting this diva plant, you'll harvest maybe 8 to 10 stalks. Go to any grocery store right now, and you'll find a full bunch for $2. Do the math on your water bill, fertilizer costs, and time, because your time has value, friend, and you're looking at roughly $12 to $15 per homegrown bunch. The final nail in the coffin? Celery is a biennial crop that takes up premium garden real estate for basically half your growing season. That space could be growing tomatoes, peppers, or herbs that actually give you a return on investment. I learned this lesson the hard way in my second year of gardening, and I've never looked back. Vegetable 2. Cauliflower. Oh, cauliflower. The vegetable that makes experienced gardeners want to quit and take up knitting instead. Here's the brutal truth. Cauliflower might be the pickiest vegetable on planet Earth. It wants temperatures between 60 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too hot, not too cold, just perfect. Good luck controlling Mother Nature. Too warm? Your heads turn grainy and bitter or just bolt straight to flower without forming anything usable. Too cold? Growth slows to a crawl or stops completely. But temperature tantrums are just the opening act. Cauliflower needs something called blanching, which sounds fancy but really means you have to physically tie the leaves over the developing head to keep it white. Forget to do this at the right time. You get yellow, purple, or green heads that taste off and look nothing like what you were hoping for. Here's what really gets me. The success window is microscopic. You need to harvest at exactly the right moment, usually within a 3 to 5 day period. Too early and the heads are tiny. Too late and they open up, turn ricey, and become basically compost material. Meanwhile, you've invested 3 to 4 months of daily monitoring. And pests? Don't even get me started. Cabbage worms, aphids, and root maggots. View cauliflower plants as an all-you-can-eat buffet. You'll either spend money on organic pest control or watch your plants get demolished. For the average home gardener on a budget, cauliflower is a gamble with terrible odds. One head at the store costs about $3. One successful head in your garden, if you manage to grow one, costs about $20 in inputs and labor. The math just doesn't work. Hey, quick pause here if this information is already blowing your mind. Do me a huge favor and drop a comment below telling me which of these vegetables you've struggled with. Seriously, I read every single comment, and your stories help other gardeners feel less alone in their struggles. And if you're finding this valuable, tap that like button. It helps more budget-conscious gardeners discover these truths. Vegetable 3, artichokes. Alright, let's talk about artichokes. These plants are beautiful, I'll give them that. They look like something from a Mediterranean fantasy garden. But beautiful doesn't pay the bills or fill your dinner plate. First, reality check. Artichoke plants are enormous. We're talking 4 to 5 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. In a typical backyard garden, one artichoke plant takes up the same space as 4 tomato plants, 6 pepper plants, or an entire salad garden. That's a massive opportunity cost. Second, reality check. Most varieties are perennials that won't even produce edible buds until their second year. Yes, you read that right, year 2. So you're devoting premium garden space to a plant that just sits there looking pretty for 12 months before giving you anything usable. Third, reality check. Even in year 2 and beyond, a single plant produces maybe 5 to 10 artichokes per season if you're lucky. Store-bought artichokes run about $2 to $3 each, meaning your plant might generate $20 to $30 worth of food per year after that first year of nothing. But here's what really makes artichokes a poor choice for budget gardeners. They're frost-tender in most climates, meaning you need to either treat them as annuals, expensive, or protect them through winter with mulch and covers. Time-consuming and still risky. Many gardeners in zones 6 and below lose their plants every winter despite their best efforts. The maintenance is also intense. Artichokes need consistent fertilizing, regular watering, and protection from aphids that absolutely love them. You'll spend more time fussing over these plants than almost anything else in your garden. Unless you live in coastal California where artichokes grow like weeds, or you have unlimited garden space and genuinely love them, these are a hard pass for practical food gardening. Vegetable 4, Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts might sound like a great idea. They're trendy, nutritious, and fairly expensive at the grocery store. But hold that thought because the reality of growing them is complicated. The first issue is time. Brussels sprouts need anywhere from 90 to 180 days to mature, depending on your variety and climate. That's 3 to 6 months of your growing season dedicated to one crop. In most regions, this means planting in early summer for a late fall harvest, which ties up valuable space during the prime growing season. Here's what makes this particularly frustrating. The plants themselves are tall and lanky, often reaching 3 feet or more, but they only produce along a single stalk. You're getting maybe 1 to 2 pounds of sprouts per plant after half a year of growth. Compare that to a bush bean plant that takes 60 days and produces several pounds, or a tomato plant that produces 20 to 30 pounds over the same period. The second issue is climate pickiness. Brussels sprouts need cool weather to develop good flavor. They actually require frost to sweeten up, but they also need enough warm weather early on to establish strong growth. Threading that needle is tricky in many climates. Too much heat and they taste bitter or bolt. Not enough cold and they never develop that sweet, nutty flavor people expect. Then there's the bottom-up harvest situation. Sprouts mature from the bottom of the stalk upward, meaning you're harvesting gradually over several weeks. Sounds nice in theory, but in practice you need to check the plants every few days, harvest only the ready sprouts, and hope the rest continue developing. Meanwhile, the plant is still taking up space and requiring care. Pests are another headache. Aphids cluster between the sprouts and are incredibly difficult to remove. Cabbage worms chew holes in the leaves and burrow into the sprouts themselves. By the time you notice the damage, it's often too late. For most home gardeners working with limited space and budget, Brussels sprouts are simply not worth the investment. A pound at the store costs about $4. A pound from your garden costs about $15 when you factor in time, space, and inputs. Plant kale or collards instead. They're ready faster, produce more food per square foot, and tolerate more weather variations. Vegetable 5, head lettuce. Last one. And this might surprise you because lettuce seems so simple, right? Well, leaf lettuce is simple. But head lettuce, your icebergs and romaines are a completely different beast. Here's the fundamental problem. Head lettuce is incredibly temperature sensitive. It needs cool weather to form tight heads, but not too cool or growth stalls. The sweet spot is usually 45 to 65 degrees. In most climates, that window exists for maybe 4 to 6 weeks in spring and again in fall. Miss that window by a week, and your lettuce bolts shoots up a flower stalk and turns bitter overnight. What makes this particularly painful is that head lettuce takes 60 to 80 days to mature. So you're trying to time a 3-month growing period within a 4-week weather window. It's like threading a needle while riding a roller coaster. Even if you nail the timing, head lettuce has shallow roots and needs consistent moisture. Let the soil dry out even once, and the plants become stressed, bitter, and prone to bolting. We're back to the same water-intensive situation as celery, but with an even trickier timeline. Here's what really gets me. After 2 to 3 months of careful attention, you harvest 1 head per plant. That head weighs maybe 1 pound and costs about $2 at the store. Meanwhile, if you'd planted leaf lettuce instead, you'd be harvesting handfuls of greens every few days for months using the cut-and-come-again method. Leaf lettuce and loose-leaf varieties are infinitely better for home gardeners. They mature faster, 30 to 45 days, tolerate more temperature variation, and you can harvest them continuously rather than all at once. You get more food, more flexibility, and way less stress. The opportunity cost of head lettuce is massive. That space could be growing herbs worth their weight in gold, or greens like chard and spinach that actually make sense for budget-conscious gardeners. What to plant instead? Now, I don't want to leave you hanging. Let me quickly give you 5 vegetables that are absolute rock stars for budget gardening, the complete opposite of what we just covered. Plant number 1, cherry tomatoes. Insanely productive, relatively low maintenance, and a single plant can produce 20 to 30 pounds of fruit. You'll actually save real money here. Plant number 2, zucchini. Borderline aggressive grower that produces way more than you need. 1 to 2 plants will keep your family fed and your neighbors supplied all summer. Plant number 3, herbs, especially basil, cilantro, and parsley. Store prices are ridiculous for tiny packages. Homegrown herbs give you a massive return on investment. Plant number 4, bush beans. Fast-growing, nitrogen-fixing, and incredibly productive. They actually improve your soil while feeding you. Plant number 5, leafy greens like chard, kale, and spinach. Harvest continuously, tolerate various conditions, and pack serious nutrition per square foot. These are your garden MVPs, the players that actually deliver results without drama. Listen, I know some traditional gardeners might disagree with parts of this video. Maybe you live in the perfect microclimate for cauliflower or have unlimited space for artichokes. That's genuinely wonderful. Grow what makes you happy. But for most of us people with limited space, limited budgets, and limited time, being strategic about what we plant isn't being negative. It's being smart. Your garden should work for you, not against you. If you found this helpful, please share it with a fellow gardener who might be struggling. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is give someone permission to stop fighting with difficult vegetables and start enjoying easy wins instead. And hey, what did you think? Did I miss any garden troublemakers? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your experiences because we're all learning together. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our money-saving garden tips. Next week, we're covering the 5 vegetables that practically grow themselves. You won't want to miss it. Until then, happy gardening, and remember, a smart garden is a productive garden. I'll see you in the next one.